What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 21 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tiktaq'to Immortal Empires Expanded campaign. Almost. So as we saw last time, we have taken the Crimson hideout on Bone Island, and thus have left the deserters of Katep with one middling little force in the game. We should be able to knock them out soon, and then I assume there are no further islands down on this part of the map, so we don't have to worry about them suddenly attacking undefended territories. We are continuing on the way to destroy the Thousand Maws, as well as, well, frankly, we're continuing on the way to destroy a lot of things, so let's continue on that way. Tic-Tac, I believe you are going to pick up Dragonfang Mount, which is so good in terms of making money. It does mean moving away from these territories, and I do imagine these guys will have an army back up and running before long, but we'll see. Auto-resolve for obvious reasons, and occupy for also obvious reasons. And there we go. Dragon Isles are now secured. Unfortunate about the plague. I wonder if it would be better to just leave the place. We still heal, but maybe that'll reduce the chance of us getting plagueinated. We do also have to chase down this fella. Kind of wary of going back into the settlement, so let's just sit here and wait. Tic-Tac, you've got 3 points on you now. Flow of battle should be available. There we go, and we'll do the other point later with the rest of these points. Anyway, looks good to me. Let's get you immediately into that alignment of monuments, and we'll eventually see whether the Sea Dragon's Teeth, which we will upgrade immediately, like so, and not upgrade this immediately. We'll see whether the Sea Dragon's Teeth and the Dragon Isles will eventually become richer than Kairos' province, because right now, Fate Weaver's Crevasse is our best money-making province by a big margin, soon to be an even bigger margin as we get the Glacial Caves up and running, so kind of interesting. I guess it was pretty darn worth it to go down there after all. Slaneshi giggle. Anyway, you, Gorok, are going to head towards Zarmuda, but we may as well travel through territory that won't attritionize us. Wait. Okay, so there should be no attrition here. It's kind of out of the way, but I'd rather not suffer several turns of attrition. So let's go like this. And, okay, I'm just going to hope that this is not screwy. And if we do suffer attrition, I will be sad. Okay, now we're okay. No healing. Oh, you can keep moving. Okay, good for you. We barely heal. Really? This is with a Skink Priest. I guess this is... No, it's still neutral territory. I don't know, man. Whatever. Anyway, Tuatara, go into this army, please. Alright, now we have 2 Saurus Scarvets to lead the Saurus. We still need to replace these 2 with 2 more Turtles, and then that'll put us to 19 out of 20. What was the other thing I wanted in this army? Trying to remember. Assuming that these 2 become Turtles... Maybe a big boy of some kind. We'll take a look at what kind of big boy we can pop in there that's sort of defensive-minded. Anyway, Kale Kano, you have high-tier Archaeopteryx, which can join another army. I've been having fun with them, and I'd like to keep them, so move down here and go join one of the other forces. Did I give you the faster movement thing? Route Marcher Inspiring Presence like so. There we go. Get there a teensy bit quicker. Oh, actually, fair bit quicker. Sid and Poxmarsh for the turn. Lovely. Alright, who's up next? Gorok is good, Digga, you. And I guess they're just going to keep pushing the cohort of Sotek and, well, the other Red Crests until we're ready to give them back to Zahanwan. I really can't believe that mutagenic energies lasted for 3 turns. I guess it's a higher level version of it. I don't even know what Tzeentchian faction hit us. I guess they can see our entire faction because... The only Tzeentch, well, these 2 Tzeentchian factions here are the only ones that we're at war with and are visible, and at the same time they're seeing all the way out here, but I guess they have that ability. Anyway, you go to the Chamber of Visions, we'll have you reinforce, double slam, double your fun, auto-resolve. Wow, that completely obliterated those Ceropods, but what can you do? Occupy. And Stegodon for some guy, and Cold One for some other guy. Good job, guy and other guy. And then Tehanoan, actually you have to leave the settlement, unfortunately, because I can't trust these guys not killing you both. Both of you will channel. Tehanoan, you'll go nearby and try not to die. Alright, construction cost reduction bonus. Lovely. Okay, we've got Mazda Conquest, who is still trying to make that delivery. Head into March Stance and go into Shrine of the Last Smile. Fire Army. I do believe it's time for you to fight once more. Isn't it always? Bring the fires of creation once more to the forces of chaos. We are a little bit damaged now, but we have the Yamaboro riders to much neededly counter the enemy elites. It's not a big force, but this time they have 2 Chaos Knights, bunch of Chaos Warriors, a giant Dragon Ogres, Chaos Trolls, basically a lot of stuff that in previous battles was not present, as we've been mostly fighting them with a couple of elite core units, like Chosen, and then giant piles of Marauders. So this will be significantly less susceptible to range fire or fire damage. Anyway, what I'm getting at is go. Alrighty, here we go. Time to try out the Yamaboro Riders, and let's see. Oh, these guys look great. Look at that. Oh, wow. That's pretty magnificent. I am absolutely loving the golden armor and the feathers on the sort of headdress that they've got going. The Temple Guard Riders as well, a little bit more gold to match the decorations on the tails and all that. I think this might be my favorite looking unit. Good lord, these guys are magnificent. Alright, I'm excited to put them to use as well. Now, they are anti-large units, so they are going to be probably not as effective against this little Chaos Sorcerer Lord out here, but, you know, just gotta charge him. We probably could have knocked him out a little bit faster with just a range fire, but here we go. That's probably a bad place to be, anti-large or not. Alright, well, they're going to put him into place a little bit, but that'll allow our range units to get into position and get ready for the arrival of the relatively elite enemy units and start firing upon them immediately. Alright, Yamaboro do a little bit of damage on the charge. They do seem to get in each other's way a fair bit, but being monstrous cavalry, that's unsurprising and better off using them against, well, bigger targets than a tiny little lord. So we'll just get the Juradon to kill him off, as we've seen them do in time past, or the specific other lords. Anyway, enemy reinforcements are here in 40 seconds. You know what? I think we'll just speed through it until they get there. And the Juradon defeat the enemy lord. There we go. Easy enough. Await reinforcements, please. A couple more hits and the lord will fall. Who's gonna get the final blow? Oh, did he just get crushed instead of bitten in half? Apparently just got crushed. Alright, fair enough. And the enemy's second army, or the real army, I guess, is now here. Alright, time to let these salamanders do the work. Ooh, the beam of Chotek moving in through the screen. And here come the fireworks. Now, the enemy does have a couple of units of those Chaos Knights, and it's better to try to knock them out as best we can so that they aren't able to catch up to us. The enemy also does have a Hell Cannon, and does do about 10% damage to the Ancient Salamander with its first hit, but that's alright, as we do have those Ripperdactyls that we can summon to deal with them. Anyway, the unit of Chaos Knights gets pretty much obliterated by our range fire. Admittedly, it's a lot of resources concentrated on that one unit. And then we switch to the second unit of Chaos Knights. I do like the fact that Flammable is also a speed reduction. That should be fairly helpful. Ooh, another hit from the Hell Cannon. Accurate as it is, but we will back off a little bit. Allow a few of our other units to fire. Those beams of Chotek are pretty darn good against things like Chaos Knights, acting like a big cannon, essentially. And we'll probably knock out a few more before these guys get closer. There we go, very nice, and penetrating through them, only 2 that time, but still, looking pretty good. And the Chaos Knights are in very bad shape now, down to about half HP, and here come the anti-large Yamaboro Riders. Oh, there's that green thing again. Alright, and they should tear those poor knights to shreds. I see knights dropping, and yeah, with the charge of the Yamaboro, they lose 25% more of their HP, and then book it on out of there. Alright, and speaking of booking it on out of there, we're going to continue retreating with our salamanders, backing up and firing on the slow elements of the enemy army. The forces of chaos, if they are built around Chaos Warriors and Chosen, are extremely slow moving after all, and they're going to have to take their time to approach us, which means more range fire into their infantry ranks and beams of Chotek into those Dragon Ogres, which will be a threat with their own anti-large, and with their speed as well, which means we're going to back up a little bit more before firing upon them again. In the meantime, we have our Slan, our first unit of Blessed Saurus Warriors. And the rest of our piles of skinks here temporarily, just waiting and blocking off the enemy should they actually get to us. But by the time they do, they're going to be in pretty bad shape. Here comes a bolt of the old ones as well. Let's see if this one... Oh, come on, Slan. You're better than this, or at least you should be. Get nothing. Oh, well. Fortunately, he has a bunch of uses of those, so not a big deal. Anyway, we backed off now and are once again going to start focusing down those Dragon Ogres. Burnt and flammable, as well as burning. And if they should get close enough to the Ancient Salamanders, they'll start getting hit with the Fire Resistance Reduction aura as well. So, well, not that these guys are likely to close, as with that they break and they're pretty much destroyed. Lovely. Alright, getting a few more volleys out of there, and then we will back up behind the main line and continue the volleys afterwards. There is a Chaos War Shrine here. The split shot of the Ancient Salamanders probably actually an inferior sort of use as against big boys like this thing with their split shots as compared to the regular Ancient Salamanders. But not a big deal. Anyway, here comes another bolt of the old ones, and this one a lot more accurate due to the closer proximity to the slan. I guess it's something you don't want to use at max range, as it seems to be inaccurate there. I've found that certain artillery pieces like hell cannons kind of get in the same sort of situation, where at max range they're really inaccurate and have a tendency to miss every shot, but at mid-range and on they're super accurate instead. And the homing missile helps as well. But anyway, looks like the enemies have finally arrived. We're going to block them off with our first unit of Saurus Warriors as they face off against those Chaos Warriors. And an enemy giant moves in to reinforce. Going to have to try to pincushion that thing a little bit. In the meantime, the Amaboro are getting chased by a unit of Chaos Warriors with halberds. Don't want to get into it with the anti-large enemies, so we'll just loop around and then crash back into the enemy's back line. Enemies' support units have moved on into Chaos War Shrine, as well as that giant that we saw. And we're just going to have to start targeting them with range. And hey, Beam of Chotek, please don't hit our own units. Not first time either. Alright, piercing bolts are burning at the same time as salamander blasts and split shots as well from the Ancient Salamanders, and here come the magnificent looking Yamaboro Riders. And there we go, those poor trolls and Chaos Warriors pinned between the Temple Guard Riders, and I should get Mazdamundi some of these if we get him to be confederated. Because they're Temple Guard, right? So, makes sense. Assuming Mazdamundi still buffs Temple Guard in the current iteration, but I'm pretty sure he does. I don't see why they would have switched that. Anyway, I digress. With the charge of the Yamaboro into the enemy's rear ranks, it looks like the enemy army is going to shatter, and the battle is ours. Comparatively little damage as this army got absolutely wrecked. Beautiful. And I don't imagine too many of those units will survive, as we have quite a lot of chasing capability with the fast units of range that we got, admittedly low on ammunition, but fast, and the Yamaboro as well. Alright, there we go. Solid work out of the Fire Army once again, and even with the elite enemy units, they weren't able to do all that much. We're going to heal up because we need to auto-resolve what remains here. A great job out of the Yamaboro Riders, and once again, looking absolutely magnificent. Loving these guys. Anyway, kill a need for now. And you should now be able to take this at tier 4. Alright, these guys are gonna run, but whatever. This is their last territory, right? So they should... it's gonna be annoying. You're gonna probably try to claim the Cradle of Ash and Joy by moving here, and then we'll have to... Okay, well, we'll just have to deal with it. Anyway, you are going to take Star Metal Cemetery and occupy it with an auto-resolve. Like so. Alright, hey, free Wormslayer's Sword, the worst purple that I never use in any campaign, I get it. Well, what can you do? Anyway, free iron is nice. We will immediately go for... I mean, maybe we should wait for the geomantic pylons. They're rather expensive. The Old One Monument, yes, definitely. And I guess we could do the... Skink Favelas. We just have to wait until Hollow Benediction to get the geomantic pylon up and running. Then again, it takes 6 turns to build it. You know what, let's just start on it now, considering how long it takes. And the... Yeah, I'd love to save the 15% construction costs, but it's not, you know, super critical, I guess. Anyway, you still have to get towards Greater Arcane Conduit. I'm going to say regular Flaming Sword of Ruin, and we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay, one more. And then Greater Arcane Conduit. And then, of course, we'll start buffing up the actual army to make them fightier. You maybe should meet up with this guy for the delivery soon as well. I really wish you could heal, but anyway. And, oh, actually, that reminds me. But we'll deal with it later. Alright. Let's see who else needs to move this turn. I don't believe there's anybody. Quetgar is waiting to construct, and there's a little bit in the way of building. Although I hesitate to recall if there's anything important to be building. And by the looks of it, no. I think, oh, maybe we just had this left over. Alright, that's fine. We'll skip, and we'll end the turn. Oh, and we'll have to deal with the alignments as well, so gotta get a few more of those blessed units on field, and then alignment them up so that they're stronger. And then continue on our merry way. Mazda Mundi, what you want, bud? You want us to join the war against Jade Court? You know what? No, you had the opportunity to deal with this yourself. You left him with 0 forces, you left him with 0 garrison at the Isle of the Crimson Skull, and then you decided to move away rather than killing him, just because the AI is programmed to never, you know, allow... I don't know, it's dumb. He was dead. He should be allowed to die. No, we're not doing this. Decently likely we end up killing him ourselves, but we'll see. Especially if he takes any jungle territory that we're unwilling to part with, anything critical. Ooh, also did... I guess Skulltaker did indeed go after these sacred pools. You know what, that's fine. Oh, or did he not? Well, if he does, I'm perfectly happy to allow him to do it, because then we can retake it without having to colonize it, and that's better. And A, free Hellock unit. Oh, do we have enough space in this army? I think we have by 1. That's nice. I'll take it. We don't have any of these guys. Alright, gonna have to intervene for this. We will auto-resolve this because this is kind of garbage. And we get this free unit as well. Lovely. And it looks like the auto-resolve likes it reasonably well. Although the Kulkan Riders got more kills here, but you know. And yeah, we're at 100 legions now, or alignments now. Gonna heal here because we have 1 more of these, I believe. Campaign movement range. Nice. Alright, so, alignments. Okay, this little coward is running. Oh, and we can't quite catch him, can we? Alright, well, Zlatata is just gonna have to deal with him while Izozyme moves towards him. Like so. You can land at kayaks, but you won't win this. Not with several units there. Actually, speaking of Zlatata, you have 2 Blessed Chameleon Skinks. We have 2 Blessed Skink Skirmishers. We need 1 more Skink Skirmisher. 1 more Blessed Skink Skirmisher, I guess. And we can get 1 in 4 turns. Alright, so I guess no need to summon 1 there. And then that begs the question as to what other Blessed units we want to summon in order to alignment them up, and where we want to do that. In theory, we would want to replace these Chameleon Stalkers with Blessed Chameleon Stalkers. Although we could, in theory, just use the upgrade mod to upgrade them. Oh, this is going in the Fire Army next turn. Probably want... you know what, let's get some Blessed Cold One Spear Riders. I want Mr. Tyrannicon to have those. Let's do you 2. We'll just do 2 for now. Maybe go for some Blessed Horned Ones as well. What do you got in terms of your availability? So you have no contact effects, meaning we have a choice of Chotek for fire, Sotek for poison, and Tsunki for frostbite. Huh. Charge bonus plus 25 is, well, it's pretty nice, plus the lethal poison. Acceleration to get the heck out of there is nice as well. Frostbite is a straight up plus 25 speed as well, however. It makes them faster, though compared to the Horned Ones, these guys are already on pace with them, so unless we level Horned Ones with a similar thing, maybe not as useful. Although giving them a melee defense is pretty darn valuable. More damage versus more slowdown. An interesting question. The main reason I'm hesitating is because I don't know whether we have other sources of lethal poison in the army, or will have other sources of lethal poison in the army, and if we will, and then obviously we will want to make use of that. I'm looking for the Jehelok or Yehelok riders here. You guys, you have no contact effects on you. Okay. You're very fast though. 40 melee defense, probably a little bit, probably a little bit healthier than the Blessed Cold One Spear Riders. We could double up on them as well, depending. I don't know how much room we'll have after we put the other stuff in. Gotta put some, like, basic horned ones, or cold ones, rather, in here as well. And if we want to use other rider types, then we could do that as well. You know what? I'm going to say go for Tsunki for now. Much as I like the extra damage from the lethal poison, these guys are fairly fragile, and I think they need the extra melee defense. And then we'll see how they perform. Tyrannicon and the Shiotl. Okay, so you need to go back to here and get the rest of your troops. So you're going this way. This guy could reach you if he wanted to. Kinda don't like that. I wish I knew... You know how sometimes it shows you where the, like, regular movement range is and where the, you know, faster movement range is, and I can't see it here? You know what, whatever. Even if he does attack a shield, he'll be fine. I'm pretty confident. Anyway, Tyrannicon. Oh, right, you know what I wanted to give you? It's stupidly expensive, and I mean stupidly expensive, but you're gonna get the Colossedon Rex, I think. Although I do want to double-check one thing. Oh. Looks like Kashwetla is moving closer to Confederation. As odd as that one might be, but anyway, Tyrannicon, you deserve a big boy. Like so. And then you are waiting to get Beast Tamer. Yeah, this, okay, I don't see Colossedon Rex in here, unfortunately, but that's okay, it can lead the Helix. You will go here, grab this shipwreck, hopefully you can auto-resolve it. And then we gotta get you the rest of your troops, and then we'll... Yeah, you can auto-resolve this. And as much as I'd love to see the Colossedon Rex, we'll see it soon. There's no need to waste our time with garbage. And let's go for... money. Like so. Anything interesting? You can have a prize hunter, a little bit of money as well. Alright, fine, fair enough. You're gonna have to land back in Crimson Hideout for the turn, or near it. Yeah, heal here in the water, and then go out here. Afterwards, get your full, well, the rest of your stack, and then obviously trade the Kulkan Riders to the soon-to-be-built bird army. Anyway, Tic-Tac, you've got this little army to kill. These guys have another army back here now. I don't see Grimgore either. Ah, there's the army. Alright, Methanian. Also, I'm... This is concerning, the fact that these guys are floating out around here. Also, I noticed that Tiktaq'to... Okay, you go to Ruins End now. Keep on stealing tech for a little while. We can... I'd like to level Lord Croak to, like, level 30, so that we can send him off to his own army, if not quite maxed out, at least nearly. So, go for Exterminate, I guess. Alright, and a free forest cloak, lovely, and then get the heck out of this province. Wait, as soon as we build stuff. Actually, no, there's nothing to build. Alright, get the heck out of this province to avoid picking up that plague, if you can. Would be nice. And then travel together with Tiktaq'to towards Ruins End. We gotta knock out the last of the Nurglites here, and then transfer some of the territories to and the Knights of Kaldor. And if we can kill off Grimgore and get his defeat rate on Tic-Tac, you know, I'd enjoy that. Anyway, Skulltaker's backed off of the Sacred Pools. You, Washti, are going to move northward in order to intercept him. And then Tech Thief, you have 3 turns left of Steel Tech. Alright, well then Steel Tech from Tlaqua. They can't take Itza. They could potentially attack Shodal, but Itza is out of their price range. Steel Tech. We should probably do all the Tech Thievery right now, shouldn't we? Alright, let's do the Tech Thief here at... where are you going? Great Turtle Isle for you. Keep an eye on all this. I wonder if we can ambush this army. Might be nice. Hanuman, you are finally healing, you little... Alright, let's do the other units. Trapped up start. Trapped up start. Okay, I don't know. You are a beast hunter. You are supposed to join... You're supposed to join Tyrannicon. Alright, so you're gonna go out here, and you'll join him afterwards. Casseton, you are gonna go here. Tech Thieves, alright. These are the ones I was looking for. So we can't do Star Metal Cemetery. Oh, they look annoying. How to resolve this? No healing this turn, unfortunately. Gotta heal a little bit, I think. Alright, mission successful, and that faction should be destroyed, and you guys, I take it, are... Oh, huh, they didn't move towards the Cradle of Ash and Joy. And they can't... Oh, they can't reach it, huh? Okay. You have to move to Cradle of Ash and Joy now. And then Tech Thieves, you're all coming down here. You will go all the way out here. You will proceed all the way to Mount Seno. And yeah, these guys are holding.
Trained by the White Tower.
That's really neat. I like this place. I might not kill them just because it looks cool, though I am not super happy about the fact that they own a territory here, and I do wonder what's going on up there. How many territories do they have? Just these 3. I'm willing to bet that they won't trade this. And it does have gems, which we do like. And there's wine and salt here. I will consider it. Consider murdering them all for stuff I'm in. And Gorok, you are supposed to move to Zarmuta, so go right here and you should be able to land there next turn. Hopefully these guys don't reclaim any territory here, or else they'll have to die as well. That's just how it works, people. Zatata, stay here, Digga and co. Alright, well, we can try to ambush stance, though you guys are kind of damaged either way. You want to trade these guys to Tehanuman now. Give him back his stuff, basically. Tehanuman moving to ambush stance. I thought it was 5%. I was like, what? I guess go closer here. Digga, these are technically your forces. And then both of you can continue channeling. Let's see if they attempt to go... Wait, actually, maybe we move away from the Chamber of Visions so that the enemy is more likely to attempt this just by virtue of the lack of the garrison moving in to support. Also, Chamber of Visions, you have an underground lagoon. Let's get rid of that because we don't need it. Tehanuman, you may be damaged, but not so damaged that you can't get stuff. Let's go for melee attack on Skinks and weapon strength when fighting Chaos. I mean, it's not useful to us right now, but it will be soon because we'll be moving northward to fight the Blooded Wanderers, so yeah. Alright, what about the Skinks? Let's keep buffing up of them as well. Energetic and Resilient. I don't know why I did Energetic, because usually we do Resilient first. Like so. Anyway, now you can get Energetic. Good. And the leadership I care a little bit less about. Ah, these guys are starting to hit pretty hard. 70 melee attack. Okay, they could use a little bit more armor and melee defense, so this army could really use an extra Blessed Banner of Chotek, Sun Standard of Chotek. We do have a spare. One's on Gorok, which makes sense. Frankly, one could also be really useful in Tehanuman's army because... Oh, wow, you have a lot of stuff. One could be really useful... Who's the Huanchi's Blessed Totem? One could be really useful for the millionth time in Tiktaq'to's army because of the fragility of the regular Ripperdactyls, them needing any help that they can get, you know. Anyway, Mazda Conqua, you are not able to reach Ancianam in one turn, so you will encamp so that you don't suffer attrition and just keep following. But you're nearly there at long last. Alrighty, Tehanuman is in ambush. You're fine as you are. You are moving southward. You got a fair bit of a way to go, but, you know, you'll get there eventually. And then Quetgar is fine. Tier 5 building here. We have to wait for you. Might as well upgrade you, and I guess the Shrine of the Old Ones here. Frankly, it's probably better to build a Shrine of the Old Ones than the Lodestone, but whatever, just leave the Lodestone there. And this at least gives us additional capacities, whereas the Lodestone does, you know, not. I guess the question is there anything to build in the next nearby province? Yeah, Demon's Gate. Alright, let's start moving over there then. Frankly, I should have done that last turn. You can suffer a turn of attrition to get there faster, I don't mind. Not a huge deal. Demon's Gate. We'll start upgrading this thing. We will start, I guess, on the Geomantic Pylon. Or we could wait at the turn and then save a bunch of money. Fine, we'll wait the one turn. We will start on the Shrine of the Old Ones, though. Man, it takes a long time to build anything here. On the bright side, though, we will have... Wait. Yeah, we have Determining the Great Plans, so the... Huh. Shouldn't the climate penalties be nullified? This still takes 5 turns. Did this always take 5 turns? This is with nullified... Wait. All climate penalties are nullified local region? Does that mean... A moment. 5 turns... Wait, what can we build in... Okay, these things. This takes 3 turns here. And it takes 3 turns here. No, it looks like local province. Maybe these buildings just take a long time to build normally. Alright, fair enough. As long as it's working. Alright, we gotta do all the buildings now. So, the Abyssal Glacier, nobody to reduce the construction costs here. Inscrutable monoliths into glacial caves and into the first of the geomantic pylons. Demonium Hills, yes to the Skink whatever, Crocscore Labor District. It's, you do not have something important. This. The Emerald Pools, 100 medicinal plants, 10 growth for all provinces, and then casualty replenishment rate +5 for all. It's a pretty darn good landmark. Dreadrock, we are not upgrading you, so just leave it alone. Demon's Gate, we've started on, we're waiting on the geomantic pylon. I just looked at you and now I'm stupid. Always have been. Anyway. Mosquito Swamps, stay defensive. Soon we'll get rid of that all. You can have iron, though. Mountains of Heaven, keep on building stuff up until we're ready to get you up and running. And then Sunken Isles of the Gods. I guess we'll start with Isla de Estragon because it has the medicinal plants and this place doesn't, therefore it should be slightly better. Any money collection in any of these? I think not. Eventually Star Metal Cemetery, but eventually is not now. Alright, diplomacy. I think we already checked the Confederation, but paranoidly I have to keep checking it. Trade agreements, maybe with the gate guards, but unless they are willing to give us Tor Lara, which admittedly they might. If we do this and then join war against a bunch of factions we will eventually be fighting anyway, they might be willing to trade the place, especially if we have the full province. Maybe it'll just rebel, that would be nice as well. Oh, actually they will never give it up. I didn't realize it was a tier 3 settlement, wow. How'd that happen? Yeah, this is gonna be worth like 200, so it's gonna be impossible. You're looking... that's not good for you, elves. But anyway, skip. We let these guys have some stuff because they were, you know, proved themselves useful. You, however, are not proving yourself useful. And turn. And our alignments are rising again, meaning we'll need to get more of those blessed units up and running once again. Don't peace with Kugath. Ooh, and the expedition should be completed. I don't remember which specimens we are going to get this turn. Ah, they will attack, and the... Huh. Yeah, I guess we can fight. We're at half HP, which is not so great. Pyrrhic victory, according to this. Let's pop onto the, I guess, cohort of Sotek, the Sun Standard of Chotek. And go. Alrighty, here we get. Well, I keep looking for Tehanawan, thinking that he's going to be on that engine of the gods, but you know, not as yet. Though at least we have a Reprodactyl riding lord. Maybe I'll keep Izozyme on the Reprodactyl because he's on that sort of aquatic army, and the aquatic army doesn't. I mean, it probably shouldn't have non-aquatic dinos. Every single unit should be either aquatic or a flyer, and I mean, Reprodactyls aren't aquatic, but they do fly, so that works. Anyway, oh, got a nice little waterfall here. Huh. I've definitely played on this map before, but I guess I never looked back here to see the waterfall. Neat. Anyway, waiting until the enemy units arrive, and it looks like the enemy will start the day by going towards us with some Dark Riders. And they're going to start plinking away at us with those crossbows of theirs. That's alright, our Basti will take a few hits. It'll just get healed up by the Reviv Crystal, and we are moving our second army into position, namely the Razor Dons, which, as we know, or as we should suspect, should be able to outshoot the units of Dark Riders pretty darn handily. As soon as they actually start firing. Come on now. Alright there. Ooh, I like the green-tipped, I don't know, spines, whatever you call these things in the back. And the matching green paint. Lovely. Anyway, there we go. They fire, and with a single volley from all three, the Dark Riders are destroyed. The Dark Riders, obviously a decently damaging unit, but ultra fragile. Do you like that they have a high amount of armor piercing on them for a light cav unit? But that should hardly be of any surprise for the Dark Elves, as they get easy access to armor piercing, generally speaking. Anyway, looks like we got some Furies moving towards us. Nope, Harpies. moving towards us, but they're going to have to run the gauntlet, or fly the gauntlet, I guess, of the spines of those Razordons, which knock them out of the sky pretty darn quick. A little bit of support from the javelin-chucking skinks as well, and it's also, isn't it nice to see two Slan on the battlefield at once? Probably something of a rarity for the Lizardmen to have two of them take the field together. But I'm sure they can, by their powers combined, do a lot of damage. Anyway, we got more enemies moving towards us while the enemy army's slowly moving through the jungle. No real need, I think, to move towards the enemy. We can sit here for now and allow our Razordons to do the work, especially since their army isn't complete and they haven't had the chance to shine. As yet, nice little volley into those feral bears, but they can, unlike the Furies, run the gauntlet and will smash into our line of our red-crested skinks. Alright, well, we'll let them fight a little bit. Bears are always scary. And, ooh, looks like a Talon gets hit with a Bloodrack Medusa railgun shot there. Alright, how are we doing here? Red Crests taking a little bit of damage, but of course the Reviv Crystal is helping them out in terms of healing, and it looks like the bears are out, and we start firing upon that Medusa, who is now switched from Tehenoan to the Skink Chief instead. Although the silence from the disruption is a lot less, threatening on a Skink Chief, where it does almost nothing, as compared to Tehenoan, who is a caster lord. Anyway, how's that Medusa looking? Down to about half of her HP, and many a inaccurate spine going wide. Or projectile, I guess. But that's alright, we gotta do something while we wait for the rest of the army to arrive, which is very nearly here. There we go, the Medusa is out. And yeah, looks like the accuracy on those things leaves something to be desired, but we can use the Amexon Barb and the ancient Razordon version from the mod. I forget what it's called. To go and deal with single entities in that army. Anyway, time for us to move. The Croxagores will move together with those Red Crests and start smashing the poor enemy. Looks Corngores? Yeah, smash the enemy Corngores, I guess, and the Corsairs with twin blades. Alright, we do have a fair few Bastillodon in this army as well, so we can rely on a fair bit of living battering ram power. Our Ceropods are also still trying to rack up that XP to level up and become Ceropod Riders. And they're going to smash into the enemy's flank, go after those Black Ark Corsairs and Dark Shrouds. It does look like the enemy has a lot of range units milling around, so we just have to cut down their melee and then move on in. Forsaken now, facing off, Forsaken of Khorne, facing off against those Red Crests. But also taking a fair few javelins to the everything, I guess, as they fight. Lovely. Continuing to advance with our Reviv Crystals in tow, keeping everybody nice and healed up or otherwise resurrected. And of course we've got the Shield of Thorns and Earthbloods, Life Blooms, etc. coming in from our Life Slan, who, together with the other Slan, are moving in support. Lovely. Seems like a proper little lizard force. There we go. The balance power shifts to about 80% in our favor now, and the battle, I expect, will soon be ours. Our Ceropods, with a little bit of help from a few other dinos and Red Crests, smash into the enemy back line, or side line, I guess, into the enemy flank. Alright, still don't know how effective these guys are, but we will make a true comparison once they are in their rider form. Their armor is extremely low, so it seems like it's a fairly dangerous thing to push them into melee, which is kind of interesting. Again, I do wonder whether it's the Ceropod Riders rather than the Parasaur riding teams that are meant to be the Skirmisher cab that is in this mod. And we shall see. Certainly the Ceropods seem more fragile than the Parasaurs, which is kind of interesting. A little bit unexpected, because they're like a little armored beastie. They're like a very tiny Stegodon. And so you'd think that these guys would be significantly more heavily armored than the Parasaurs are, but no, they have barely any armor whatsoever. Maybe just by virtue of their size, it's just not very thick, and thus, you can, stab right through it. But anyway, I digress. Bounce power shifts to about 90, maybe even 95% in our favor. Tehenoan keeps leading from the front, as he does. And heck, we even pushed the Slan forward. Fortunately, the Life Slan was going to just be able to heal itself up as it constantly casts. And this doesn't really care about taking as much damage, though we should put some more armor on it at only 37. It's a little bit low. I think I'll prioritize giving them, you know, sort of armor-type traits. But they do have 67 melee attack, which is pretty darn solid, so they can certainly fight on the front line. Alright, and there we go. With that, the enemy army shatters, and the battle is ours. Not a difficult one by any means, though it did take a little bit of time for all the enemy to move towards us. We could have just met them in the jungle and forced the enemy range to, you know, just be useless there. But, you know, I wanted to make sure that the Razordons got to play, and they would have been impacted by the jungle as well, so, yeah. Alright, there we go. No ambush needed, and the enemy army gets destroyed. Our alignments will get maxed out, and we'll deal with those in a second. Here we will take the... Much as I'd love the money, I think we want to be able to auto-resolve what remains here, so we'll... Yeah, we'll kill a need. We'll kill a need. Good job to the army, or armies, I should say. Again, with the Life Slan in support, it's always going to be pretty effective. Rite of Awakening for Heshwatla. Well, I guess if we do end up confederating them, that'll mean more Slan on field. Which ain't a bad thing. Though they'll probably be at a relatively low level, admittedly. Non-aggression pact out of Bordeaux Aaron. I'm going to say no for now. Again, it completely depends on whether you're going to stay on that little island or whether you're going to get ideas and take other jungle territories. Looks like King Behedson or whoever that was will land. Dare Talk wants a non-aggression pact. Oh, they're fighting the dwarfs. Oh, kind of interesting. I'm going to say no for now. Just keep trading, though. Alright, and that, unless my count is off, should complete this. Oh, we got a Parasaur riding team. See, this should give an option to delete a unit in order to deal with this. Oh, I wanted that Parasaur riding team. Oh well, ignore. What can you do? Rite Awakening performed, ambush foiled, Sword of Battle, Star Metallurgist, Settlement besieged kayaks. We'll deal with in a second. Ready for duty, technology researched. We are not alone. Bodies have been put on display near the border. They belong to trespassers the expedition had elected to ignore. But is it a warning to other trespassers or to us? Someone or something is watching. That would be the Gekalo things. Yeah, the Parasaur riding teams would have been really helpful here. I guess we get rid of the Saurus Scarvet? Unfortunate though it is. Again, heroes are kind of meh in these armies. Or do we just keep it? Frankly, I think we'd get more mileage out of another one of these units if we luck into them than the Saurus Scarvet. You know what? We'll give him a chance to duel an enemy lord or hero, and we'll see how well he does, and then, you know, make our decision based off of that. Anyway, Teto Echo, steal tech from Ruin's End, please. Oh, I wonder if he'll prevent Tic-Tac from landing, which would not be great. I guess we'll see in a second. Ooh, we got a new tech available, and I do believe that means Secrets of War. Yes, more old ones favor per turn. And I guess we should probably do Sequence of Known Purpose. More of the more character XP per turn we have, bonus, the better. I'd really prefer unit XP per turn, but you can't have everything. Anyway, you need to go to Hollow Benediction. I assume you can't reach it in March Stance? No, but you can reach Cradle of Ash and Joy, which is something. What do we have in terms of... Ooh, basically 2 stacks. Alright, that's not bad. Okay, let's start off with some tech thievery. In fact, let's do all the tech thievery so I don't forget. Alright, do it, and do it. All successes, only the ones below level 10 need to be leveled. So you guys are fine. We have more tech thievery to do here. And I note that Skull Taker has moved away, which also works reasonably well for us. Steel Tech? Steel Tech, and then one more. One more? Okay, yes, Steel Tech. Lovely. And, oh wait, did any of you lower levels level up? Yes, you did. Go for, I guess, Block Army. More valuable than Wound at the current time, at any rate. Cassitan, you still have to be where you're supposed to be going. Trapped up start. I guess you guys can move in to reinforce this. Actually, you can't, can you? I mean, you probably... Do we need to trade any troops with you? Do we need to actually land you, or can we just keep going where we're going? That's a question. Okay, wait, let's take a look at the military comments. Oh, they do have one more turn remaining. Go figure. And you haven't leveled either. Alright, fair enough. We'll just keep on waiting there.
I forbid this.
Ashiotla, okay, you do need to land. So, you know what, let's move you into reinforce and leech the XP. Izozyme is probably fine. There you go. And then auto-resolve this for obvious reasons. Like so, and let us... take the money. Lovely, free Ogre Blade. Then, Ashiotla, you can... I guess you can go into kayaks for a moment. You will then trade the 2 Feral Trogs, both of the Blessed Chameleon Skinks, like so, giving you 19 out of 20 troops. Oh, I guess you don't need the additional Chameleon... Oh, you're supposed to be a Blessed Chameleon Skinks, which we can get one right now. Alright, so take the regular unblessed one, and then get the blessed one. And then we'll get the Blessed King Skirmishers after. We can immediately give you, or use the alignments so they're not wasted anymore. That was the alignment of Quetzal. Especially since these guys are going to get those toxins from Ashiotla, so... Yeah, there we go. Should be a pretty neat army, I think. The Chameleon Stalkers are kind of spare here, just in case we need to move into melee. If there's some other thing that we want to place in this army afterwards, like the Pale Death, for example, we can always replace those guys. And I ended up going with 2, or with 1 Skink Chief rather than 2. The only thing that makes me wonder about this is the fact that they do give additional missile strength, but the other stuff isn't as useful on the range units. Well, the missile resistance, admittedly. But it's not like the additional missile strength will be that crazy of a difference on these guys by the looks of it, as even with Ashiotl's buffs, they're not anything crazy. We'll see how they perform, and make our decision based off of that. Wait, do we have anybody who... Oh, the oracles do. Okay, I was wondering whether we have anybody who applies regular poison, because these guys will bleed, these guys will lethal toxin, these guys will do various things depending on which toxin they have from Ashiotla, so yeah. Alright. I still find it weird that the Lizardmen don't get access to toxic venom at all on anything. I find it very strange. Whereas other factions do. Anyway, you do not need these Skink cohorts for obvious reasons. You will get a... Mace Saurus Warrior, and then you will be blessed by Chotek immediately for the fire. Alright. Then I would love to move you in and deal with this, or we could wait and... I was about to say wait and heal up, but that's not really... you're not really healing here. Ugh. We need to go somewhere where we can heal. Another option for killing the elves, I guess. But anyway. Do we wait for the army? We can't set up an ambush because we'll suffer attrition being the Chaos Waste. Frankly, we need to leave the Chaos Waste with this army before it gets corrupted. Ooh, I also noticed that you leveled up. Flamestorm for you. I guess we just fight? I guess we just fight. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Go on. More fire stuff. We like that sort of thing. And Mazda Conquest, you can go into Cradle of Ash and Joy and just keep falling. Okay, you're gonna attack in a second. Don't you worry. I'm still having a lot of fun with your army. And it's not even... it's about halfway complete so far. Anyway, we'll get to fighting with you as soon as we get to, you know, everything else. Oh, free island. I did not notice that you were here. Grab that shipwreck. And then head to Ruins. And oh, is this gonna... That's what I guess we're about to find out. I was going to say, is this going to take out the movement range and prevent us from reaching it in one go? It's a distinct possibility. It won't. Ah, free lost cargo. Still no materials at sea, though. Game hates us. Or maybe it's just me. Ooh, actually, good idea to move here, because Grimgor is nearby. Looks like he's going after the Fortress of Vorag once again. And, well, we're certainly going to pick that up for ourselves, as in his defeat rate. Occupy Ruin's End, only temporarily, mind you. And move onward afterwards. We'll give this to the elves and hope they can hold on to it. Oh, they've actually made some inroads into the mountains fighting Clan Moors. I don't know how they managed it, considering Imric appears to be dead and they have no armies remaining. Kugath is back. Probably going to attempt to move towards Shattered Stone Bay, therefore we will leave it to last to upgrade. I'm almost tempted to peace out with him just to not to bother with this, but, you know, we'll deal with it. Oh wow, we got more islands out here. Yeah, but Tiktaq'to is busy. Okay, well, we will have other armies doing things. Anyway, Izozyme. The question for you, my friend, then, is where do you go to? First of all, you need the... Wait, which expedition are we about to complete? Okay, so nothing for Izozyme. So he'll have to wait until the next one. So he is free to move. Alright, fine. Go here. Ooh, can you reach this? Oh, you're just out of range. Oh, game. Why you do this? Alright, fine. Go right here. Don't suffer attrition. You'll travel through the sea line. I don't think you're needed in Lustria. And, I mean, who other than the aquatic army would be sent through a sea line, right? Tyrannicon, you are going close to kayaks. This place has the... Okay, it doesn't have the... I was looking for the appropriate recruitment building, but that's okay. Fleet-footed, adjutant, and resolute. Okay, we need another hunter of beasts, or beast hunter, to pop into Tyrannicon's army. I want to get that Colossedon Rex fighting. Maybe we can get him to fight some of the Blooded Wanderers. But if not, there's other stuff to fight. And another sea line potentially to go through should we need to do so. I didn't say I want to send somebody through here, but I think that feels like an Ashiotla thing, doesn't it? Especially now that his army is more or less complete. Other than that one unit, but he can get it over there. Slaneshi Giggle. Anyway, let's keep moving. Washti, you are going to move to potentially intercept Mr... We have the Saurus building here? We do. Alright, so go out here. I'm going to build some Saurus. Next turn, I guess. Not Temple Guard, though, because for some reason the Old Bloods buff the Temple Guard and not... Or buff Saurus, regular Saurus, and not Temple Guard. Zarmuda, what do we have? Ooh, decent defenses. I like it. Hopefully the turtles will like it enough to level up. Finally. We're gonna besiege this. And see if that allows us to... Yes, okay, we're gonna besiege this and see if the enemy is willing to sally out and fight us in the field, and if not, we'll just attack them next turn. Why not? You. Alright, so... Do the turtles get buffed by Epicentrists? Yes, they do. Chirp and Gunner team. So we'll get Epicentrists. Is there anything else in this army that you will want? Epicentrist will also buff your Basties with Reviv Crystal, which is the main thing. And you have... Oh, right, you've got points wasted in Skirmisher unless we actually get some of these units in here, and I'm still kind of on the fence about that. You will then want Beast Driver for both the Basties and the Turtles. Like so. You too. Saurus Scarvets. What do you want? You want to probably save points for Sacred Adornments in order to buff the Saurus, both of you. Yeah. Alright, Sacred Adornments it is. Skink Chief might be in here temporarily, but for now he is in here, so just leave him in there. Get your natural camouflage, though. Get you on that Ancient Stegodon eventually. I'm gonna say Survivalist is the better pick here because, you know, you'll be more tanky on that Ancient Steg rally. And then go for Bloody Blade for 1 point, trying to get towards Slippery. Lastly, the Skink Priest. On towards Arcane Conduit via Magical Reserves. We still have points that we can apply to the Curse of Anra here, which is pretty useful. I don't care for Transformation of Kadon because the Manticore disappears too quickly, so we're gonna go for Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, which is rather nice. Alrighty, you're ready for fighting as soon as that's done. Digga and... I'll to Henneman. Digga, you will move in as a reinforcement? Actually, you might not be able to. You will. Alright. Can you move as a reinforcement? Leech that XP? Just the one? That's fine, though. To Henneman, go. And to Henneman, kill. And to Henneman, heal. Not much, but, you know. Hey, free Book of Assure, that's nice. We could go for the Golden Ziggurat, but at the same time it might be more worthwhile to actually completely destroy this army, so let's do that. Oh, I should have moved these guys in to reinforce to Leech XP, but all good. All good-ish, I should say. Heal again. And I assume that even in March Stance you will now not be able to reach the Golden Ziggurat. I'm wrong. Alright, go to the Golden Ziggurat. And then we'll have Digga attack it. Like so. Poor Rakarth. He did not have a good time. Alright, how close are we to leveling these guys? So, fortunately, they only need to be level 4, so we're very close to the Sauropod Riders. Auto-resolve looks good to me. Damage, but nobody died. Like, bye. Beautiful, and a Hide of the Old Ones. That's not bad. 20 armor and 15 missile resistance. Certainly various different kinds of heroes, especially those on dinos, will be able to put that to use. Let's upgrade the Holy Ziggurat at the Chamber of Visions so we can get, well, the Chamber of Visions. And then we will... Do we still need this at the Sentinels here? I think not. You're free to get rid of it. And here, we're free to build the Skink Favelas. Beautiful. Alright, you guys are doing good. So close to the Sauropod Riders. Just want to experiment with them. Anyway, Shiotl Kale Kano. Who are you again? Oh, right, you're this guy. Go through this way. Tuitsa Quetgar still has to move in order to go here. Wait. Yeah, nothing to build here. We want one more turn of the Geomantic Spire, then we want to get rid of the Weapons Crafters Commune after. But for now, you go into this territory where we can more cheaply build that Geomantic Pylon. Like so. And like so. It is a significant reduction after all. Anyway, you are the last one to move, therefore Digga. It's digging time. Oh, again, my alignments are full. Alright, there's nothing for you, I guess. In theory, if we wanted to... I mean, these guys are high level. You know what? It's a little bit... I'm just gonna take advantage of this and turn them both into Blessed Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bows. The fact that they have to be level 9... is still, I think, fine. Oh, actually, should we turn these guys into Fire Leech Bolas? Huh. You know, I'm gonna start with you two. Like so. And then they already cause fire damage, but we can make it, you know, fire and bleed like we do. I don't know if they'll have room for 4. If we do, then we'll turn these guys into Fire Leech Bolas with poison as well. Kind of makes sense considering they had, you know, poison and the regular poison on their stuff, on their javelins. Anyway, I digress. Go. Alrighty, here we go. And I like the lighting in this particular Chaos map. It's bright enough so that we can actually see what's going on, which is gonna be good because it's more Yamaboro Rider action. And I'm excited to see them do their thing. Man, these guys would look magnificent as a, well, they already do, but as a mini. Man, I love these guys. Marry me, Yamaboro Rider. Anyway, since the last fight we went a little bit range heavy, and this is a minor settlement battle, maybe we could do a little bit more melee fighting for the Yamaboro. And we will, of course, start with a little bit of range fire, beams of Chotek and the units of salamanders firing away at those Forsaken before they charge on forth, and we will meet them with the Saurus that move on forward as well. And we're gonna get ready to send the other units in to help them out. Alright, here comes the start of the fight. Oh, that's kind of neat. The Forsaken, the Force of Chaos are in the shadow, and then we're in the light. It doesn't seem appropriate. Okay, well now the Yamaboro charged into shadow as well, but it was neat for a few seconds. Anyway, as the Yamaboro charged forth, similar to the way that the Forsaken and the Saurus clashed, so do the Yamaboro Riders clash with the Chaos Knights. And all those Chaos Roids, whether on man or on horse, don't make you bigger than a Yamaboro Rider, which still makes the regular Cav look small by comparison to a monstrous Cav. Alright, and it's lovely to see, though we are going to be locked in place. On the bright side, though, by moving the Duradon forward, these guys will get the benefit of the bolstered defense as well. And the Solar Vigor ain't too bad either. And we'll take it. Alright, well, the battle is joined. We're gonna buff everybody up a teensy bit with that Flaming Sword of Ruin upgrading, that base weapon damage at least, helping out the Saurus. I imagine the Yamaboro probably have a lot of armor piercing on them, so I don't know how the degree to which that will help. Let's see. Well, actually, they have solid base weapon damage as well, so yeah, it'll still buff them decently well. I love it. Alright, well, the brawl continues when you just need to get out of this choke point. Admittedly, I was sorely tempted to just drop a few spells on these guys and clear them out that way, but, you know, sometimes I like a little bit more melee brawling. Especially since some of these units, like these Basties with solar engines, don't usually get to fight in melee, so why not give them the opportunity to do so? Alright, and when the slam casts, the sort of light coming out will light up the darkness of this particular choke point. There you go, very nice. Alright, just a little bit more work and we will be through these Chaos Knights, which have been torn to shreds. One of the Duradon a little bit damaged, but, well, It is what it is. I was thinking about getting at least one Reviv Crystal in this army. Yeah, it makes sense for a fire army to have some kind of healing available to it. Not too much, maybe, but, you know, sort of to mimic, I guess, what was it, cauterizing a wound. Eventually with tech we'll have a sort of faction-wide heal available to us, though. So maybe we don't need it. Even though it is like the main support thing that you want to have. But anyway, Yamaboro will now charge forth towards some blue horrors. Forsaken and other such things are going to move towards us as well. Does look like we have a decent amount of splash damage on the monstrous cav. Anti-large they may be, but I imagine that base infantry won't have too much of a chance against them either. What are we looking at here in terms of kill-wise? If I could just take a look at you, 35 so far, though they were fighting those Chaos Knights, so they wouldn't have too many kills as yet. I expect those numbers to climb by a fairly large margin. And the Jordan being in the center of the formation means more levels for these guys, and hopefully soon those Nova engines. Hopefully with the Nova engines, they get a little bit more in terms of armor and gold upon them. I appreciate the major difference on the Yamaboro, and I'm sure that we can, or I'm hoping that we can do the same on those guys. Wait, I just want to see here. Do the Yamaboro use a Brood Horror animation? I saw them I saw one of them sort of rub its face, which I remember being an animation that the Brood Horrors do. Although they do look like, they do look a lot like salamanders in my opinion, which is why I wanted them in this army. Even though they're not directly fire damaged, you know, they're red, they're lizards, they look like salamanders, it works. It works, damn it. Anyway, how are we doing here? Bounce power is still in the enemy's favor. There's a lot of enemies left to clear all over the map, but we're just in the midst of a brawl, and if they want to keep sending troops to fight us in melee, I'm perfectly happy to allow this army to do so. Alright, Forsaken and Lesser Demons alike should be cleared out without too much trouble. What are we at here? 104 kills on these Yamabor, 18,000 damage, pretty solid. And we do have the piles of Chaos Spawn starting to move in now. We got 1, 2, and 3, though the leader one is heavily damaged. And oh, are these both Ancient Sallies? Okay, I should have separated them from each other a little bit more. They're mostly here in the... center of the formation to provide this aura of immolation. The range is pretty good, but yeah, it's the weakness to fire damage that we want, since we're stacking anti-fire resistance, burnt, flammable, and then that aura. And just doing as much fire damage as we can. Alrighty, big old brawl between Chaos Spawn and Yamaboro should, in theory, be very much in our favor as their anti-large specialist. What's our anti-large bonus, out of curiosity? If I can actually select them in the middle of this 30 anti-large bonus, pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. Alright, and the bounce power is still in the enemy's favor. It just speaks to how many units they have, and it looks like even some of them have managed to reach our sort of small numbers of Saurus in the center of our formation. I am keeping one Kryptonoth nearby. We can't send it into combat, unfortunately, because it's so heavily damaged and we have no way to heal it, but this thing provides that bolstered attack, so I just wanted to make sure that it buffs everybody up in the blob. But we also are using the sort of start of the choke point here, the walls to hide it in case an enemy wants to, you know, use blue fires on it or range attacks. Obviously, this thing can get knocked down really quick. In fact, I'm sure that 1 or 2 blue fires will kill it instantly, so we just gotta keep it protected while we get those buffs. Anyway, the battle continues. There we go, push on through the enemy Forsaken. And as that bounce of power, there we go, finally it's at about 50%, but I guess there's still plenty of enemies. Have started to take a little bit of damage on the Saurus now. Definitely need more in the way of melee infantry here. But the war of the monstrous infantry versus the monstrous cavalry is certainly going in our favor. Especially due to the relatively weak individual unit, or individual model nature of the Chaos Spawn. Alright, tactically, obviously, not much to say. We're still in the blob and still getting hit from every direction, but it probably won't last too much longer. They gotta be running out of troops sooner or later. Huh. They're keeping... Well, actually, it does make sense to keep a decent number of units in the Citadel. They have built up all of these platforms to block off the... block the place off, though I do think dropping a few blue fires or pink fires in the midst of our blob would have been quite helpful. I also noticed that the Cultist of Tzeentch... Wait a moment. Let's see. Cultist of Tzeentch... You have no level. Presumably that means you're from the garrison. You have Cascading Firecloak and Fireball. I'm just thinking back to the Cultist of Nurgle, which would, when in the garrison, just summon a Great Unclean One on the field in the middle of your formation. I wonder if it's a technology that allows them to do that, or whether they're just always able to do that, but the Cultists of Tzeentch aren't able to summon anything. I'm gonna double check it next time I play. Next time I played Tzeentch. Well, actually, I started to say next time I played Tzeentch, but to check it, you would need to, you know, have a garrison defend with a cultist. I guess I'll just mouse over the enemy cultist and see if it has any kind of summoning ability. Because I'm 99% sure I've seen Nurgle garrison cultists, not actual heroes, be able to summon. Well, I think it takes a bunch of points to do that on an actual hero. Anyway, there we go. Filled some of that time with yammering. And we've finally cleared out the blob blocking the choke point and are now able to move deeper into the enemy settlement. Wouldn't you know it, we've got more spawn at Tzeentch here, and that means we've got more work for the Yamaboro, and I guess the dinos as well. Here they all go. Have I said I love these things? Ah, magnificent. Alrighty, and we're going to move in here because I want to make sure that we capture this key point. There aren't any, I believe, towers actually threatening us, but, you know, it's just going to bother me to leave it nearby. We are getting a little bit, just a little bit, mind, of work out of our range units as our Umbral Tide unit of Salamanders is slowly but surely obliterating. Now, this one unit of Blue Horrors, which are too far away from us to fire back, especially if the enemy, or since the enemy seems to want to keep them up on that platform. Take a look away from the Yamaboro for a second. The enemy Forsaken have charged towards our skinks with javelins. They are getting pincushioned a fair bit here, but they've got a much greater chance of actually, you know, doing something here than they do with our blob of dinos. So, good for them for actually attempting this, and I'm sure they'll drop at least a few skinks before too many javelins find their way through the chinks in their armor. Or just to like directly penetrate their armor, because we got okay, I believe, armor-piercing damage on the regular skink cohorts with javelins. Yeah, 6. It's not so bad. It's not great either, but the blessed variants only cost what, 50 spawning sequence, and you can just spam those a little bit more. And they are much more armor-piercing. Anyway, looks like the Forsaken are out of there, and hey, even the severely damaged Kryptonoth got to do a little bit of work to make sure that the enemy demon range infantry did not target the Kryptonoth. We summoned the Riperdactyls on top of them. I can get a little bit of help coming in from all those javelins once more. How's the main group doing in the meantime? It looks like they've cleared out most things here. I see the remnants of one unit of Chaos Spawn in there, and another one of those Exalted Heroes. But otherwise, the battle is very nearly ours. Let's speed it up a teensy bit more once again, as the interesting portion of that part of the battle is done, and these guys just surrounding one poor Exalted Hero isn't much. Alright, he's gonna book it on out of there. We'll keep it at max speed until we're ready to hit the enemy's center line. I do see that the Riperdactyls have found another target for themselves. The demons attempt to escape, only to get hit by the Umbral Tide instead. Nowhere to go. Time to charge towards the enemy Exalted Pink Horrors, and the one of these is not like the other. The Skink Priest Avatar summoned there. But yeah, charging the dinos toward the big old wall, which we should be able to break through it quite quickly. And hey, that spell probably helped a little bit more as well. It looks like the enemy targeted the Skink Priest avatar with that, but that's just fine. And there we go. Down go all of the demons, and the bounce power shifts to about 90% in our favor. And in fact, the mortal units begin to rout, and the Herald and the blue horrors will begin to melt away as well. Are you happy, YouTube? I'm saying it more clearly now. Alright, well, anyway, just gonna charge into the center here. Yamboro Rider's gonna bound forward towards that poor Herald of Tzeentch. And this thing's pretty fragile. Ooh, one last use of the blue fires, huh? I think it was trying to target the slam, not that it would have been a major threat to it. Although, what kind of spell resistance do we got on you? 30%, actually lower than I thought it would be. For some reason I figured that the slam would have just like an absolutely bonkers amount of spell resistance. And considering they're fragile in every other way, you know, low armor, low melee defense, just defensive stats in general. They do have the barrier to rely upon. And their HP is okay for a single entity, obviously nothing like a dino's HP, but I figured they would be a little bit less vulnerable to spell work by the nature of it. Maybe there are upgrades to make them even less so, but anyway, I digress. The last of the enemy units are just about done for here. Gotta be careful about that skink cohort getting obliterated by the Emerald Tide, who moves in to help at the last second and carry the battle for us. There we go. Heroic victory as well, and a nice little bit of melee action for this army. Hey, a Forbidden Rod. Don't have nearly enough of these, and this will be a very nice thing to have on the Lifeslan. Otherwise, an unusual battle for this particular army as we fought the enemy in melee rather than in range, but it let the Yamboro Riders not just look fantastic, but kill pretty fantastic as well. 53 and 42,000 damage, 4,003.8k damage dealt, as gold value just vastly outdoing everything else. Very, very nice work. Yeah, definitely my faves out of this mod so far. It's there's a lot of nice stuff, but it's kind of not even close. These guys just look too good. Anyway, we will pop on into the settlement, and just based on those Yamaboro riders. Okay, wait. Alignment to monuments for obvious reasons. Hollow Benediction. You have a skink lookout. I mean, considering there's only one path this way, we probably don't need it. Let us also immediately upgrade Hollow Benediction as well while we're here. Or at least start on it, and then, yeah, just start on everything. And yeah, this thing will be upgraded next turn, but whatever. Stonemaker, do we want to keep you here? Marker, rather? Yeah, you know, I think we'll get more mileage out of the Temple of the Old Ones here. Actually, you know what, screw it. It's already built, never mind. It's just leave it alone. How are we doing here? Ooh, rank 5. These guys will soon be upgraded. Very nice. I'm thinking next episode or the episode after that, we'll get our first C-beams and those Serapod riders afterwards. Anyway, what I was thinking was this. I kind of like the idea of every single... There's no more fire units in here. No, there are not. Okay, these guys are for other armies. Anyway, every single Slan army, or every single army led by a Slan, should have at least one Blessed Temple Guard, wouldn't you agree? Or one Temple Guard, just generally speaking, wouldn't you agree? And I'm 90% sure I remember that these guys can in fact be blessed by Chotek, which means it's still a fire unit. Plus, they match the Yamaboro Riders, so lovely. What do we have in terms of space remaining? You are going to be replaced by a... Oh. Yeah, we probably will only have enough room for one unit of Blessed Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bolas, because you're going to be replaced by a Saurus Scarvet with the gift of... Star Gift, which is still on the way. And then... Star Gift, and then you two Fire Leech Bolas, and then you two regular Salamander Hunting Packs, because we don't have enough. Yeah, alright. Lots and lots of different units, though. That's nice in and of itself. And then, of course, we gotta get the, you know, the C-beams and the Nova engines, or whatever those were called. which is, yeah, also rank 6. These guys are leveling a lot slower than the Duradons are because the Auto-Resolve hates them for some reason, but doesn't hate the Duradons. Considering their stats are nearly identical, it makes no sense. I don't really understand why, but it is what it is. We'll deal with it, or otherwise we'll simply recruit that variant of them. Anyway, with that, we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we will wipe out this Dinshin faction for good, and, before Shiotla gets here, but he can always go through this and then move towards the other territories. And we still got territory up here, we got territory up here, we got stuff to do. Oh, Nakai. He's wiping out the... he's wiping out the Corsairs of Spite. Good for him, I was not expecting that. I wonder if he's going to fight the Guests of the Raja here. I guess we'll have to find out, or figure it out next time, so stay tuned for more lizards. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.